Morning, everybody. How you all doing? Had some technical difficulties. Took me a little minute to get on this morning. I apologize. Thomas Berry was on time as he normally is. We gonna go for it. Rodney's not feeling well. He hit us up in the middle of the morning. Had to turn the damn volume down on the phone. So he may not, or may be with us. Not 100% sure. More than like we're leaning toward not, but that's okay. We're gonna discuss. He has a guest lined up for us today, so the brother should be on. And then we also have a number of things to get into. Rashi said, "Let's skip over the Epstein files this week." Okay, we can do that. It's the hottest story out there, Rashi, but we can do that. Um, but we have plenty to talk about, including the Supreme Court decision handed down yesterday against Trump's tariffs. Companies were already lining up to sue the government. That's a good question because these are executive orders. I wonder if they're going to sue him directly. Congress didn't pass this. They allowed it, but they didn't pass it. So my question is, are they actually going to go after him directly? That is going to be a very, very curious situation to do. They might, somebody might be petty enough to do that. We lost Jesse Jackson this week. That's a huge voice that we've lost. I'm thinking about that too, bro. The youngest sister that partook in the Emmett Pettis bridge crossing, Edmund Pettis bridge crossing in Selma, she passed away as well.
Mm.
Is it just their time, or is somebody trying to take some generals or some advice givers off the board? Hey, man, I'm just saying it's very curious how everybody dropping at the same damn time. You know what I'm saying?
You
And
never know.
I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past him. But hmm, sports is nuts. I never thought that the Miami Dolphins would release Tariq Hill. That is absolutely crazy. You know, he's still one of the best wide receivers in the game. To let him go,
Mhm.
the Winter Olympics are still going down. Not been following the Winter Olympics. I will keep it 100 with you. It is not my bad at all. Just not my thing. Every time I think about the Winter Olympics, I think cold. Hence the word winter. It just not in my wheelhouse. Like whatever, dog. You
Yeah.
know, um, Americans tend not to be good at the Winter Olympics. Like, yo, that's for the Europeans. They be crushing it. Norway, Sweden, Finland. They go ahead, give it them. Just let them have their time. Because when the Summer Olympics come, they ain't got no damn chance. You know what I mean? But they be killing the damn Winter Olympics. So, um, that's what's going on there. I woke up this morning, brother Barry, to a very weird dream.
Mm.
Very weird.
Okay.
It was one that it didn't shake me,
Okay.
but I never had a dream like this before. I'm not going to tell you about it,
Okay.
but I will tell you there was a very famous person in it. I never dream about famous people. Like that's very odd for me, but it was very comforting as well. I had the opportunity to talk to Donnie Short. We've had him on the show a couple of times. This is the brother that started the Black Planet meet and greets.
Hmm.
And in a couple of days, I believe it'll be 25 years. I believe I want to say, or 35 years, one or two. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyhow, um, uh, he's talking about putting something together on Zoom, so on and so forth. So we had an opportunity to go down memory lane. Peace, brother. I see you on. We'll get to you in about 20 minutes. We'll bring you up in about 20 minutes. Thank you, family. Um, so we uh, we had an opportunity to go down memory lane, and we're just talking and chopping it up. And there was a brother that I met through. I hope I won't tear up. I'm getting soft and old. In my old age, I'm getting real soft. Well, his handle on Black Planet was Party Animal, and he was from Philly.
Okay.
For whatever reason, he took a shine to me. Like this was my dude, and I was his dude. You know, and whenever the parties would happen, he would find me,
Right.
and like a couple times in, He grabs me and he's talking to some folks. Hey, nephew, come here, man. So, I was like, nephew. So I was like, you know, come here, man. So I came over and he introduced me 100% as his nephew. He was like, man, this is my nephew. Blah, blah, blah. So if you see him, yada, 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 yada. I'm there like, holy shit. Like, okay. This is before that whole unk thing, yada, yada, you know what I mean?
Right.
This was late 90s, early 2000s. So this was way before all this, way before all this.
Right.
And he's passed.
Mm.
Um, but he had moved down here to Georgia, and actually he moved with his wife not too far from where I live.
Okay.
Try not to cry. So for whatever reason, I was really missing this cat. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? And when Donnie put that call out, it gave me an opportunity to reach out to him and tell him, like, man, I've been telling you for years there needs to be an icing on the cake. Donnie's older. We're not doing things that we used to do. I get it. But we do need to do an icing on the cake. We do need to do one more large scale event to where everyone can get together, however that looks,
Right.
and say, this was an awesome ride. Right. Again, I tend to be the youngest person in the crowd. So I'm still extremely youthful. Others are not. There have been a number of people that have transitioned,
That's why. Yeah.
but that cat really impacted me. He was very impactful on my life, and he was a wild dude, man. This dude was a wild dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there were often times because this was a traveling affair. These things happened in Jersey and in Philly and Delaware, in DC and Richmond and Baltimore and
Mm.
New York. I mean, we were on the move. You know
Right.
what I mean? So we be in a different city, and I'm calming this dude. I'm like, oh, yo, you need to chill. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yo, chill, dog. You know what I mean? Like, chill, enjoy it. He met his wife. They married, had two children. There's another young lady I know. She married someone through that. Another young lady I know married someone. There have been a number of marriages that have occurred through that. Hell, my cousin, him and his wife met on Black Planet. You
Dope.
know what I'm saying? So again, this is why I say there needs to be an icing on the cake. There needs to be one more large scale event,
Yeah.
and we can go from there. And maybe this one in March will be the one that I really am able to bend his ear. Like, okay, look, if you want me to do it, I'll do it. I'll put it together. I have no problems with that. But there needs to be a very nice,
Mm.
large scale event for people to come to and just ride it out. And we're cool. And we're cool like that, you know?
That's dope.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because before Facebook, before MySpace, this was the thing. This is how Black folks really got together and connected and stayed in touch. And whenever men and women are mixed together, there's always going to be something. Let's
Yeah.
let's be real. Let's be honest. Like somebody gonna want to do something to somebody's daughter, and somebody gonna want to do something to somebody's son. It is what it is. But the relationships that have endured through that whole thing is phenomenal.
For sure.
I think networking like that is instrumental in bringing about change in our community. Regardless, we talked last week about the gathering. I know Thomas, you shared with me some stuff that you were working on there in Minnesota. But the gathering is a way. Peace, Sister Angela. How are you? Welcome.
Hey, Sister
The
Angela.
gathering is a way for us to come together and, as it says, to get to know one another. You know what I mean? Beyond just seeing one another on the streets. Again, I'm amazed at being in the deep south and how infrequent folks speak to one another.
Mm.
That is amazing to me.
It's a new South.
That is out. Yeah, man, in the deep south. That hell, we do better in New York. we really do better in New York. We
All
do
right.
better in
Good morning, big cuz Tim. I
if it's
see
not a word, it's at least a head nod. We do better in New York. We do better in Baltimore than down here.
that. All right.
Real spit. And I'm not even talking about the young folks as much. I'm talking about the older folks don't speak to one another. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely don't even acknowledge one another in any way, shape, or form. And that's detrimental to our cause. That's detrimental to our people. We have to recognize one another
Mm-hmm.
for the good in one another and for the idiocy in some of us. You know what I'm saying? We gotta, hey dog, you don't want to mess around with him. You
No.
don't want to mess around with her. You'll get yourself into trouble.
Yeah.
Leave them folk alone.
Mm-hmm.
Let them folk flock with whomever they want to flock with. You find out who they flock with, you stay away from all of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not the way. You did? What's going on, bro, Barry? How you feeling?
I'm doing good, man. I'm just you know, going through the motions, man. But I love hearing the conversation about the Planet days for you. I never was on Black Planet uh
Ice times, bro.
at
Ice
during
times.
that time, but I do understand that Black Planet, was really the it's the Blade. Blade is a Marvel Comics and in the comic
Yeah,
book world, how
yeah,
it's sold
yeah.
DC and Marvel with the movies. Black Planet was like before Facebook. I think they had a college club after Black Planet or whatever the case may be in MySpace. But Black Planet was first. And so just want to acknowledge that aspect that's major. And so that's what's up. Condolences on the loss of your friend. And to the listeners out there, man, it's been a heavy week, heavy week. And my joy for the week is, hey, what's up, brother Mike? How you doing? My joy for the week, y'all, is seeing what the Supreme Court telling Trump no, and then watching that tantrum. So that was beautiful to see on Friday. I said he did everything but say yo mama to the Supreme Court in his response. He said that they were some bad people. We'll talk about it more later. But as far as what we're looking at here in the Twin Cities, man, it's just a beautiful day. If you're out here in Minneapolis, the NAACP is doing an event today, I believe, from 5 to 7:30, which would be an event which will be focusing on Black love. So I hope that people are able to come out and get a chance to do it. I think it's only like $7. If you go to the Minneapolis NAACP Facebook page, you can sign up. And when you sign up, man, they're going to have food. They're going to have all kinds of things taking place. And by the way, they'll have massages there too. So get out and make it happen. Oh, yes, sir. The loss of Jesse Jackson.
Absolutely.
You
High
know,
on the agenda.
because I know, Angela, you're from Chicago, and I know that Jesse means a lot to people in Chicago. Operation Rainbow Push. I tell people all the time, my political awareness is watching my parents get prepared to work the polls when Jesse Jackson was running for president in the 80s. That's the first time that I've seen Black folks that ignited. And that's, I'm young in age at that particular time. I think I was maybe in first, second grade, something like that. But watching everybody get ready to go to the primaries to vote for Reverend Jackson, but also seeing people getting politically mobilized to support something like that. And, salute to the hat to him. I know people have their difference of various and opinions of all of our esteemed people. However, I will say this: he made his mark. And I know that we do a lot of times, we do a lot of critical things on people, but other people have made their mark. And a lot of the people who are critiquing have not done anything to make a mark similar to a Jesse Jackson. So we have to keep that in mind as we salute him. And remember, he's transitioned. And whatever he did in this life, he starts over at zero in the next life so he
There
can
you go.
perfect his path. And so, and salute to your sister for being, she said she's at
My,
Rainbow Celebration.
my sister's at Rainbow Push this morning. Yeah.
So and
I
let me
wish we had her on. That would have been smooth if we could get her on.
give you back.
Angie, Angela, if you can get her on, that would be sweet for real.
Yeah,
We can slide into that a little later.
because Angela was, when I was in Chicago, Angela was trying to get me to go over to Operation Push, and we'll do that once we go back. But hey, listen, these are foundational things inside of our community. We knock them a lot. Operation Push, the NAACP, the Urban League. But once again, these are our foundations. These are our institutions, and the only way to make them better is get into it. So
Let's let Rashi get in this morning. She's awake. I don't know what the hell that image is, Rashi. What the hell is that? An embryo you got going on up there? Morning, sis. How you doing? Where's she at? Okay. There you go.
There we go. I was trying to get this phone to engage. Well, I come here as a learner listener. So if y'all chopping it up so hard, getting that lesson in, you don't have to stop to include me
Mm-mm.
because I learn here as much as I share information. So please, if you guys are on a roll and you're finding it hard to etch out a time for me to speak, just let me know on the other side that there is no time
Not at all.
instead of trying
Not
to.
not at all. That's why I went to you. How you doing? How
Yeah,
was your week?
don't ever force it, okay? Because I know I ain't got nothing that deep to share. So you do not have to force me in. But other than that, it's been a
How was your night?
crazy week. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Lee,
Nah, nah, nah,
because
don't do that.
it's always weird to me when something happens. My life is like that. Like I'll pop up one day thinking about uh Frosted Flakes, right? And I'm like, why the hell am I thinking about Frosted Flakes? Before the week is out, I have something has happened where Frosted Flakes has manifested themselves in my reality. Now, why am
Okay.
I saying that? Literally 4 days ago, Thomas, I saw Porgy and I saw the. Let me say this better. I saw them talking about Porgy and Bess on the TV about how when a city or a production company is on their way where they can't make no money and shit then got real and don't nobody want to come to the theater and da da da. If you put on a production of Porgy and Bess, it has historically saved production companies and theater companies from having to fold because when people see Porgy and Bess, they go ahead on and spend the money. They know how how hard it was to generate all those black people on one stage. They know the story and it's so endearing to the American idea. So I saw the. This is what I'm telling you, Thomas. I was clicking on the TV. Stop that PBS. They talking about Porgy and Bess. I go and type in Porgy and Bess on my phone. Guess what? Porgy and Bess is coming to Kansas City. I get to looking, but before I pass out drunk before I can choose a day and a time and a seat. I look up 3 days later. My good friend Vaughn said, "My sister in Porgy and Bess. You want a ticket?" I said, "Who? What? Hell yeah, I want a ticket. I had did the reconnaissance work for it 3 days ago. I just told myself I'm poor, black, and ugly, so I don't deserve Porgy and Bess."
Stop, stop.
Look, the universe said that's a lie. That's a goddamn lie. And I looked up and I got a ticket to go see. You see what I'm so what I guess what I'm saying is please fellas and listeners be open to when you receive like a footnote or a little header for what's coming in your life. You receive like a little it'd be like a flash in the pan, Barry. You understand? And if you're not following and focusing, you do not see the universe preparing you, quite possibly, for something that's coming down the pipeline. Now, mine was a fairly quick turnaround, but I have waited up to 6 to 7 months for what I had flashed up in my thoughts one day
Mhm.
to manifest itself. So, I, that to me just it really popped this morning like oh my goodness, I saw it on Monday and on Friday it was real.
Mm.
I saw it on and not necessarily and I did make motions to make it real, but I didn't necessarily have the wherewithal to finish that, right, to go from beginning to end. But and I'm not a religious person, y'all know. I don't never be on here talking about no Jesus nothing. But there is an energy out there that will see your efforts moving in a particular direction. And if you are attuned and you paying attention, it can lead you all the way to the finished product, whether you have put that energy or time into it or not. The,
Was
the
it a good seat?
universe will rally others for your uh eventual manifestation. And I ain't never ready for it. I am almost always surprised
Was
by,
it a good seat?
baby, let me tell you, you could have been sitting me on George Gershwin's grave as far as I'm fucking concerned. And it is better than me not. being able to ingest the beauty of Porgy and Bess. All right, it is a good seat. It is. In fact, I do believe I'm gonna be getting spit on by the actors. It's that damn close. But
Yeah, I
but
try to get you as close as
baby, you
possible
had
in the
sat me
center.
on Porgy's lap. Okay, no worries. Uh, and so what I'm trying to tell you is I put myself in a position to accept the ticket. I thought it manifested itself in my reality on TV. I felt like, ooh, 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 I like that. I want that. I literally said out in words, like, and I and I try not to be a metaphysics person, but I said the words, I want that. I like that. I would like that. I only did a little funky ass 2 minute internet search before I got sleepy and passed out. But by the time that week was over, something in my reality made it to where I am able to be there. And it's because of my affiliations and my networkings with brothers like you, Barry, brothers like Vaughn. It's like you pop up one day and you say, I want to feed people, Barry, right? Well, you
Mhm.
may not have known how, but Rodney's manifestation of your desires made it to where now you have a how, right? So
Mhm.
that's where I'm trying to look at when yes, I want. Like Jesse Jackson, he wanted. Jesse wanted others that are well, he wanted all of us to get along. He was one of them Rodney King ass niggas. Why can't we all just get along? But mostly he wanted those who were being disenfranchised to band together so that we could have a united collective argument against oppression and white supremacy, white pathology and hegemony. Okay, so now he about to get it. Hey, how about ain't that crazy? In his demise, he's going to get a stronger rainbow coalition than he would have in his life because eventually, if we're going to do anything about the Republican regime, we're going to have to band together as other nationalities in order to let not just non ethnic forces here in America and them banding with Israelis, them banding with the neo Nazis of the German area who are still cropping their head up, them
Mm.
rebanding with not even accepting a nationality. It's people who just want to see the fall of the American economy. They want to know what happens after America fails. There are people who are trying to actively break the system so that they can just see what happens afterward,
Mhm.
right? So
Donald Trump.
when you get through with them people and figure out what's going to have to happen, it's Jesse Jackson shit that's going to have to happen. It's a band of brown and black. It's a band of brown, black, red. It's a band of brown, black, red, and yellow. Well, who are those people? That means that the Asian community is going to have to crawl down off of their uh, what they call it minority, their model minority status. They're going to have to tie into the overall uh, collective struggle of those who are non-white because unfortunately they have received the best non-white rating of all. We also going to have to collect, with the one with the worst non-white rating. Black people have the worst non-white rating. We not only not white, we don't even want to be white. At least Asians are trying to be white. We are no longer attempting. We gave up the button down tucked in. Now at best, we pulled out the tuck in. We might put. We have given up. Listen, go try to find. You the last black man tucking that damn shirt in down there at the bottom, trying to look like he's doing. I'm telling you that there's an alternative to the Euro presenting individual coming for business. Eventually, they're going to take you no matter what. They're taking you with the afro. They're taking you with the decorative t shirt on, with the blazer on top and jeans. They're taking you because the idea of the model citizen emulating the white man is done. You gonna take me as I am. So what Jesse Jackson would try to do was say, look. there's apparently two systems. There's the system that they get to use, and there's the system that all the rest of us are trying to work with. And what I'm trying to tell you is he's getting his coalition. The black and brown are going to come together. It's not going to be us. It's going to be them. Brown folks are going to realize eventually that they not going to reinvent the civil rights struggle, that they finna get in where the fuck they fit in, and they finna fit in with the same tenets and principles we already laid down when we beat racism, white hegemony back the first time. And Chinese and them Asians, including Indians, they're not going to be able to keep saying, "Oh, but I'm not like them. I'm brown like them, but I'm not like them." Eventually, the hatred and the behavior of those other people are going to make Indians and Chinese people say, "Hey, what you niggas doing over there? We want to see what had happened because we can't take it. We can't take being used and abused like this. We need to be able to have our own agency. And you'll never have your agency by yourself if you're still trying to pretend to be the model minority. That is
Awesome.
that is the removal of your agency. So his rainbow coalition is literally going to happen upon his demise. We are going to get a unification of the others, and I call them others because that's how we've been trained. Technically, the people who we are trying not to be are the others. It's fewer of them than it is of us. But the way we have been trained is to make us think that we are the others. So there will be a collection and a coalition of the others in the future. And it is because we don't want to suffer like this
Right.
under white pathology and hegemony. And so he told us. He said, "Y'all niggas gonna get look. Y'all gonna get together. Y'all gonna get tired." Is what he said. Now let me tell you what hurt my feelings though before we leave. And I ain't speaking ill of
Yeah,
the
because
dead. I
I
want to
you
ask
got 30
y'all one
seconds
thing.
before we need a
I
break.
got you. I
Yes, sir.
got you. I got you. Just let me finish the statement
Mhm.
if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
What would in your heart make him say something like he said against Obama? Do you think he was jealous? Do you think he was
No,
frustrated with Obama being able to proceed past
no,
where he thought he was supposed to go? Let
no,
me tell you how much my
You
heart
can't end
hurt.
on something
My
like that.
heart hurt so bad on that hot mic they got him
no,
on. That
no.
hot mic almost
Can,
broke
can, I
his,
ask- can,
you understand what you know what I'm talking about when I say that hot mic.
can I ask you a question? Will we say that Bill Cosby or Bill Clinton was jealous when he said that Obama would have been serving him tea not too long ago? Was he jealous?
Mm, mm. Okay,
No, Bubba was
let's
doing
go.
what Bubba do. I just trying to ask you about a gentleman. Like
No,
if
no,
you can't, okay, look, Barry, you have watch ambitions, right? Well, you may in time, like all the big wigs do, you'll be a big wig. You are a big wig, and you'll be a bigger wig soon. You're gonna have to hand it to somebody. I in my heart, I do believe he was resentful of handing
Okay,
what would have been his spot to Obama, and I just wanted to see what y'all as powerful as he was, what was that?
uh,
Do you think?
let's bring in our guest and then we
yeah,
can
yeah.
do that.
We'll get to that on the other side. Let's be respectful of the guest's time.
And
I
Lee also inbox Angela because she said her sister can come
already
on.
did.
Okay,
Already did. Yeah,
okay,
I'm working. I got two, three things going on at the same time. All
okay.
right. So Rodney was good enough, even though he's not with us this morning, to get a representative from the Black Panther Party from Vegas on with us. Wanted to welcome the brother. Peace, brother. You're on mute. You still got yourself on mute. We can see you, but we can't hear you. Oh, here you go. Morning, sir. How are you?
Okay, brother, how you doing? I'm doing good.
All right. Pronounce your name for me, please, so I don't slaughter it.
Yes, sir. It's Yasuk.
Yasuk. Morning, brother Yasuk. How are you? Say hello to Sister Rashi, brother Barry.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right,
Greetings to
brother.
everybody.
Good morning, Black man. How you
Is
doing?
that the Japanese Yasuke?
Excuse me.
Are you aware of the first samurai soldier in Japan, Yasuke?
Oh, definitely. That's the reason why on the name. I feel like I people, warrior people, body of the people. So
Is it me or is it
the first bodyguard to the emperor.
Gotcha. I I wanted to talk about the work that you all have going on out there in Vegas.
Yes, I'm
What do
getting
you
some
all?
feedback. I don't know what it is here.
Yeah, yeah. It was a lag on my end too when you were speaking initially. That's why I was asking, was it me or like Rashi said it was a lag? Okay, that looks a little bit better. Try it. Try it now.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep. Yep. That's much better.
Yes, sir. I didn't get the question. What was the question again?
I was just asking. I wanted to get some information from you about the great work you all are doing in Vegas. What do you all have going on currently, and how is it going?
Yes, sir. We're basically building for the community. A lot of things that we do is helping our people on the ground. We get out and we do community patrols. We feed the homeless. We do Black history teaching for the kids, self-defense teaching for the kids. Today, we have an event going on. It's actually a global mobilization. And we're working to bring people together and teach them what their constitutional rights are. So that way they know how to protect themselves and they know what it is that they can do within the law. So we have a global mobilization that will be, we've got about 10 cities here in the state. We also have from Burkina Faso, we have one in Nigeria, Tanzania, and there's another region over there where we've got a chapter at also, but just building to make sure we can liberate our people.
Do you see a more of a request from the community for you all to come through, or are you all operating in communities that your members live in?
We do both. And actually, you know, it's sad that the things that we face are coming from this tyrannical government, but I think it's opening the eyes of our people and it's bringing our people together. So, you know, as some of the elders said, it's going to take something drastic for us to come together, and this may be it.
What made you become a Panther?
I was born into a civil rights family. I'm actually blood cousin to Rosa Parks, so I've seen both sides of the fence. And about 7 or 8 years ago, a cousin of mine was killed by the son of a pig in Indianapolis, Indiana. So that's what kind of put me on more of the revolutionary and more of the wanting to wake up and get our people in the right lane. And that way we can liberate ourselves out of the position that we in.
Okay. Oh, one of the listeners said there was a lag going on, but we're gonna press on because it's going to kill us if we're trying to narrow this down. It's okay. It's okay. Well, so you said one of your family members died at the hands of a police officer.
Well, no, by the
And
sons of a police officer. It was
I'm
during the
sorry. I'm
George
sorry.
Floyd uprising in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Gotcha. 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 Uh, how many chat? Well, I don't want to get into that. Have you seen an influx of folks wanting to join since this new regime has taken over in DC?
Yes, sir. Like I was saying previously, that it's sad that we have to deal with things that we're dealing with, but I think it is opening the eyes of our people to make them realize what reality is.
Are there any, I want to say, 'cause common sense is in common, so I'm trying to stay away from that lingo, but are there any tactics or let's use that word, general advice that you would like to share with folks to protect themselves?
Yes, sir. Um, Everyone, please do the research and learn what your rights are. You have two things that you can use that will protect yourself and the well-being of your family and also your property and home, which is a castle doctrine. It protects you, your family, and it also is an extension of you being in your vehicle. If you're out in the public and you're in your public space, you can basically protect your castle. Also is a stand your ground law. There's a no retreat law that goes into some of that in some states, and some states there aren't. So you have to do the proper research to know what the wording and what the language is being used in your state, so that way you know how to use the law. which is our event today, is also going to be going into that and explaining that, and then also introducing the international support that we have.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, Thomas Berry is the CEO of the Watch app, and that may be something that you all need to connect on and talk about, because I know Thomas is very much interested in getting his app in the hands of as many people as possible. Um, have you gotten support from the elders in this to meet, I should say, the new challenges? Do you feel like you've gotten support from the elders? That's a better question. Do you feel like you've gotten support from the elders of your organization to meet the challenges of today?
Yes, sir. We have support of many elders. But one thing that people have to realize, some of the elders are at odds with each other. So we have to do what we need to do to get the work done. But we do have support. Baba Mukasa supports us. Elder Ajabu supports us. Baba Smalls is here today. He's going to work also with the co-founder of the organization that I co-founded with, which is Dr. Malik Shabazz. We follow the ideology of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, which is to liberate our people. Our focus is our people, and not saying that we won't work with anybody else, but we have to take care of our people first. And that's what our main focus is. But yes, sir, even with the brother who created the WhatsApp, we would love to get with you, brother. We would love to figure out how we can entwine everything and make sure that we can be on the same page.
Gotcha.
Currently, I'm working right now with about 10 chapters in 10 cities. We also have some international chapters in about 3 or 4 other countries. So I don't know if that app is worldwide, but we would love to try to come together and figure out how we can utilize it.
Okay. Awesome. Thomas, did you have anything for the brother?
Well, salute to you, black man, first and foremost. 2 weeks ago, I got a chance to meet brother Malik Zulu Shabazz. I met Khalid Muhammad in person 2 times and had conversation with dear brother Khalid. Rest in peace to that brother, all the way into 5 a.m. in the morning in Minneapolis with my band of brothers here. So I was happy to be on a panel with Malik and a few other brothers who came up to the Twin Cities a couple of weeks ago. So I am supposed to be reaching out to brother Malik so that we can help the lawyer network, what he is putting forth, as well as other chapters from the Panthers to the NAACP, to other organizations, so that we can make sure that people have access to be able to protect their rights, their persons, and also being able to see their families. That's what this is all about, is making sure that we are securing what we need to do. But, like I said again, brother, I salute you. I know a lot of people don't understand the risk when you speak up and you step up. It's one thing to talk, but it's another thing to walk. And so I know that, as a young man, there's a lot of things you could be doing with that brilliance you got. And I think that, I salute you, because I know you could always go try to make money for yourself and be selfish, but it is a sacrifice to step up. So anytime I see a black man doing that piece, I always got to tip my cap to you and keep on moving. That's just the main thing. Keep on moving.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely. And anytime, like I said, I'm in constant contact with Dr. Malik. Like I said, he's the co-founder of the Black Panther movement. We don't move the same as other organizations, but we are facing concrete conditions and trying to figure out resolutions to get around those concrete conditions. So yes, sir, we would love to get together. I know Elder Rodney connect us together. I don't know if you got his number. If not, but we can get on the phone. I can set up a meeting. We can set up a global meeting if possible, but we can get it going at any time.
Well, I know Vegas is going to be either our second or third city. Chicago is now saying that they want to be second. But we'll make it way. We'll be out there, and we can meet in person, because, like I always tell people, this technology piece, and I'll be trying to come up with something to rival Zoom. We have to make sure that we're securing our own technology, using their technology. They almost see us coming before we do anything, and that's how they know how to add other people to the table. But I'd love to come out there and meet you guys in person, have a conversation with you. The same thing we did with Brother Malik when he was here. I was so happy to be on the panel with the brother, because I knew he was Khaled's right-hand man, and just my affinity for Brother Khaled. Like I said again, man, I would love to have that conversation. I do got Brother Rodney's number, and we'll definitely connect. But let's do whatever we can do to secure our people nationwide. And we do have some things. There's been some requests to even get this app over in Ghana, so we can work out some international things to make it work for sure.
Yes, sir. I'm definitely
Okay,
with it.
so just to let
Uh,
people know, this is not a man working his own plan. His organization has a plan, and so if you want to know what is driving Brother Yakusi, it is the 10-point plan. Still, right, brother? You all are still
No, man. We
operating.
we we have our own platform. We have our own teachings. We
So
have
it's
our own
not the
ideology.
10-point Black Panther plan
Everything is
anymore.
based on what some of the work the original Panthers did, but we're trying to elevate our work.
so, what are the differences?
Where can we find that elevated work also?
Yes, ma'am. We have a website, which is blackpanthermovement.net. We also are on Facebook, Black Panther Movement. We have an East Coast page, a West Coast page, and we have a South page.
Awesome. BlackPantherMovement.net.
Yes, yes, sir.
Awesome. Absolutely. Absolutely. Rodney, I want to get you in because you are you're responsible for all this. I know you tired, but you here, so you might as well say something.
Good morning, brother Yazoo. It's good to see you, black man.
Yes, sir, Elder. How you doing today?
I'm a little bit better. Thank you for asking, and thank you for your assistance last night. And thank you for showing all of those people how those of us with some seasoning on us and others with a little less, like yourself, can work together to be there for our people. They need to see us together. They need to see you.
Yes, sir. I'm here definitely.
I'm glad that they talked about the Black Panther movement and the original Black Panthers, but I wanted you to share a little bit more with this group and the listening audience on the work that you're doing specifically here in Las Vegas to bring unity to the various factions of the Panther community.
Yes, sir. A lot of the different factions and different lanes, Panthers that have been created, it was all a distraction. When it comes down to it, the original Panthers were taught Black nationalism, Black economics, and uplifting the Black household, which is what our ideology stands on, which is to organize, empower, and defend our people. Now, you have different Panthers that do different work. You have different Panthers that move different ways, but we all must come together to serve the people. When you have different parts of the Panther, no one part of the Panther can do all the work. It has to take us to come together as a unified front to be able to answer for the people, hold officials accountable, and to be able to serve the people the right way. So that's the work that I've been working on here as the Black Panther movement is to bring everybody to one table to be able to do the work, regardless of what lane of revolution or liberation work that you do, whether it's a gun club, a Panther club, or whatever else you may call yourself. If you Black and you trying to do the work for our people, then that's who we're trying to organize and build with.
There you go.
Yeah, you
There you
had a
go.
meeting with multiple Panther factions. Talk about the power of that and the unity that was created.
Yes, sir. Um, we have to lead by example. And if we don't come together and unify and make sure that we can work together, we can't expect anyone to work with. That's just not on a local level, but that's on a regional, a national, and on an international level. We have international support. We have people in Burkina Faso. We have people in Tanzania. We have people in Nigeria. We've even got people over in the Soviet Union area. But the thing about it, if we don't come together and create that fist to be able to actually make an impact, then we're going to be in the same situation. So the biggest thing for us is creating that united front. No matter what walk you walk in, as long as you Black and you're trying to help our people, we have to come together.
And for everybody that's out there listening, I do have a few years on this brother. But this brother and I work together for the betterment of our community. And that's what we have to do, find out what we have in common, and then bring those two things together because that's where our power, that's where our strength, and that's the continuity of us. Because nobody can do this work by themselves, and our people need us both. So, big shout out to Brother Yazoo, as well as the rest of the local Panthers here for seeing opportunities for us to link together. Yes, Brother Barry, I did share the app with them. So they're going to have a national meeting. I think you guys talked about that a little earlier, shortly. So he doesn't have much time because he needs to get out and get to that meeting. And Brother Yazuk, if you could just share a little bit more about that meeting that you're about to head out to.
Yes, sir. Um, the meeting that we're having is a global mobilization. We're mobilizing people not as far as for a distance, but where they're located to come together and learn different things in different ways that they can protect themselves. In Minnesota, we filed as an organization amicus brief with the Supreme Court to address the tyrannical act of government and also local law enforcement. There are things within the Constitution that allow us to take certain routes to hold them accountable. And that's what this meeting is about, this mobile globalization that we have. We also have international support. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to what's going on over in the Sahel state, but they have come together and formed a union of Sahel states. And they're setting an international example that we want to follow on a local and a regional and also a national level here in the United States. So we have to make sure that we're in a line and we're moving properly so we can benefit the max out of what it is that we need to benefit. Our main thing is holding this government accountable, holding these officials accountable, and making sure that our people know what their rights are and how they can protect themselves and their family.
Right on. And this is a call to all Panthers everywhere. If you believe in the core idea of the Panthers, if it's a Black Panther or one of the various Black Panther factions. And also remember, there was the Brown Panthers that were out there, the Brown Berets. There were other Panther groups that were put together to come and support the idea of Blackness and Black power. So this is not something that these brothers are doing alone. And let's not forget, we often say brothers, but the Panthers never was just brothers. The Panthers always included the sisters. And Brother Yazuk is working with sisters here in Vegas, and they're organizing too. Brother, can you talk about that unification of the two genders for the movement?
Yes, sir. A lot of people don't know and they don't realize the original Panthers would not have been successful without the women in the organization. I don't know if you know, but there was a female national chairwoman by the name of Elaine Brown. When Huey P got locked up, and Elaine was his right hand woman, and she came on board to take over and make sure that the organization was moving, that people were doing the things they were supposed to do, and make sure that everyday business was done properly. When it comes down to the backbone of the civil rights movement, it boils down to women. Like I was speaking earlier, I'm a baby of civil rights. I was born into a civil rights family by being related to my cousin Rosa Parks. Even with her being the mother of civil rights, it started with her mother. So I've been in a family of a long record of civil rights, and women have always been the center of it. Even if you ask some of the original Panthers, the work that they did when they got out in the community, they had the success that they had because of the women. Yes, the men do what they do, the men are the support, but without that strong Black woman, you will not be successful.
Right on. And this brother and some of his folks came out and helped us with the food distribution here in Las Vegas. And sometimes that would be a lot of food. But these younger men put their back into it to make it happen. And brother, I never really said anything to you about that, but I never forgot what you did. And maybe if we could have had more young people out there helping us, I wouldn't be laid up like I am today. So maybe you gave me a little more longevity when you showed up. So I appreciate that. And can
Yes,
you
sir. I'm
give
definitely
them,
here, and I'm looking for more people to come on board. That way, you don't have to do that part of it.
There you
Can
go.
you share the contact information once again, and also a little bit about the newspaper that you all produce?
Yes, sir. Like I was saying previously, we can be contacted at our website, which is blackpanthermovement.net. We also have the international phone number. Our international phone number is 1-844-848-6489. That number is the international number. It works anywhere. You can call or you can text that number. Usually that number is someone is available within normal business hours. If it's not normal business hours or the weekend, you can text it and you can also get us that way. Um, Locally here, well, actually that number can be used anywhere. Locally here, there's a couple of Panther organizations, but we all are united, we work together. But as far as our organization, specifically the Black Panther movement, that's the best way to contact us. And then also email thepanthermovement@gmail.com. So if you want to join, if you're interested in helping us, if you want to donate to the work that we do, we feed the community usually twice a month is what we try to do, depending on the weather and depending on everybody's schedule. We try to get out with community patrols. We mobilize in different areas. We just had some guys, Elder Malik was just up in Minnesota. So yeah, we do what we can for the community, and we try to get as much help as possible. We also have a website where we have T-shirts and different things like that you can purchase to help support us. And then also you can give donations to help support us also.
All right, thank you, brother. Does any of the other panelists have questions for Brother Yazuk before he has to roll out?
No, I know I don't. I'll be looking forward to connecting with that brother and being a support and working together in the future for sure, man. Salute to you and stay safe, my man.
I don't have any questions, but I want everybody to know to go to blackpanthermovement.net. And Brother Yakusi, there should be a prompt on that website for them to donate. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. There's different tabs on there. When you go to it, you can apply for membership. You can donate. You can teach on. You can learn about the history that we're teaching on as far as for Black nationalism and Pan-Africanism. And we're just trying to educate and mobilize our people and make sure they're in the right lane to be able to liberate themselves.
I thank you. Black
Awesome.
Panther Movement. Please don't forget the word movement. .net, not .com or org. .net. Please go now.
Awesome.
Appreciate the
Thank you,
support.
family. Appreciate your time. Peace. All right, now. So for the rest of the show, we got to get into the other news of the week, which is big news. Big news. The Supreme Court actually slapped Trump. I did not see that coming.
Oh, Lee, did
Yes,
you? Sister Tyra was inside of the chat. Did you see? You didn't see that?
I see. I reached out to her. She hasn't reached back. As soon as she reaches back,
Okay.
I'll get her in. I didn't forget.
Okay.
That's why I went dark, because I was working my phone and I
got
didn't want to look like I was doing something different than paying attention to the show. I'm working the phone trying to get a hold of her and working the chat trying to get a hold of her.
Okay, right on.
Oh, sorry, that's not true. I thought you was going to break because we left the question on the edge that Rashi asked before we bought the. Yep, I want to get back to that, which ties in to Sister Tyra. And the question is,
was he jealous?
What did we think about Jesse Jackson's comment about Barack?
Yeah.
On the hot mic.
Yeah.
So, Thomas, go ahead, Thomas. Go back to where you were going, and I'll jump in.
So my point is, and I hate when we do this with our people based off a soundbite. I don't think that Reverend Jesse Jackson was jealous of Barack Obama. I just think that a lot of our people, because Obama's associations with a lot of Jewish folk in Chicago, people forget that he wasn't eating lunch with the Congressional Black Caucus on Capitol Hill. Nobody necessarily knew who he was or had a relationship with him. So some of those things that people were saying, and then also how the treatment, people like Tavis Smiley, who was actually friends with Obama before he became president. You know, we say this word jealous and we say these things and we don't know the background of the relationships amongst men. And so they're frustrated because they once, when he was on his rise, some of them had access to him. But once they got a hold of him, those friends of his became distant strangers. And so that's why you see a lot of, or that's why you saw at that time, a lot of those men feeling a certain way about that situation. So I just don't want to, with Reverend Jackson passing away, I don't want that to be a part of his legacy. And there's other things that we can critique anybody on, Jesse Jackson, anybody else. But I feel like we've gotten into this string with our falling elders when they die, the critical mass of who or what there was in their life before their bodies even hit the dirt. You know, we at least got to let them transition and have a peaceful transition and think about the best of the works. But I don't think he was jealous of Barack. And my only simple question that just end quick, we didn't say that when Bill Clinton was caught on camera saying, just think a couple years ago, he would have been serving us tea.
But we expect that, Brother Thomas. We expect power to be mad when they have to concede. We expect the general idea of we should be here to be broken when something breaks through and pops their head up as possible. What I'm trying to say is and and yes, I do believe in the power of Jesse Jackson. Like him and Shirley Chisholm did something that most people were not prepared to do at the time, accept public criticism for trying to climb up into the chair. You know how I feel about the chair. You can go back to several different broadcasts that we did made, and I done told y'all about that presidential chair. We could put Jesus Christ himself in that chair, right? And when he gets through making decisions on behalf of the American government that we think need to be made, uh, he might not even qualify for the cross no more when he gets through making decisions on our behalf. So this is what I'm telling you. What I'm saying is not that he was a bad person. Please hear anybody listening. I don't have a negative commentary for Jesse Jackson. Him, Shirley Chisholm, and hell, any black person who tries to sit in a position of power, let's get it. My question is just simply this, Brother Barry. Black power, if it works, gets passed on.
But Barack Obama was not a symbol of black power.
What you say now, Dare?
I'm just saying, like, this is the thing.
Watch your hold up, swole up. Be careful, be
No,
careful.
that's facts. Because I can look at what Trump is doing with his cabinet. Where's the pro-black person that was in Barack Obama's cabinet his second term? Where were the terms that were pushing reparations for black folks in Obama's second term? We killed the Congressional Black Caucus for that presidency, and we still disrespect them to this day. Tavis Smiley and Cornel West are still doing what they're supposed to do. Barack Obama is no longer president. You still need these people to operate. So we pissed on everybody else for the presidency. And you talking about not the lack of assimilation. I think Lee was right when he asked that question. No, we fully want to assimilate because Obama was a part of that assimilation. And that's when you started seeing African Americans wanting to be more and more like the mainstream and less like our own particular self. So I don't disrespect President Obama because I understand the symbolism of what he did. But I also can't look at other people who came before him. And I just want to add this out because brother said that Schumer and others put him in position. No, brother, you got to keep in mind it was the folks in Chicago who codified him and coached him up. Maybe Dick Durbin has something to do with that. That's another white man inside of Illinois who was the former senator, may have had something to do with Obama getting to where he was at. But you have to remember Reverend Wright in that church, they codified and babied Obama to get him through that piece. Because when he ran the first time, he got smacked by one of the former Black Panthers inside of Illinois. People forget that fact that he did lose to a Panther in Illinois because the people didn't feel like he was black enough at that particular time. So I just want to make sure when we, and this is about Elder Jackson, Reverend Jackson, and his passing.
And he was black enough. Let's say that right now. That's right, Brother Jackson was black enough.
Hold on a second. We don't want to take this. This is what I'm saying. We should not be taking Reverend Jackson's moment of transitioning and making it about Barack Obama, because nobody's mourning President Obama at this moment. We're mourning Reverend Jackson. And we have to be able to put things in its proper place. And all I'm saying to you, sister, is I don't think the brother was jealous. I think he was angry. And I think jealousy
So
and
because
anger to
he
the
wanted someone who really cared about black people to be put. If he was going to pass the baton, what you're saying is,
No,
if Jesse Jackson was going to pass the baton of rising black power, he wanted it to be passed to someone who identified more with actually being a black person who has ties to the beginning and the making of America, not someone who got in on America when their father was accepted as a foreign national. You
I,
talking about you want a share. You think Jesse Jackson would have been happier with a share with the son of the great grandson of a sharecropping
no,
black man who identified with America in a personal stance and was able to see the overall struggle mission of America in a different stance. Is that am I close or am I still
no,
far away?
I don't want to put any words in the Jesse Jackson's or Reverend Jackson. Let me say it properly. Reverend Jackson's mouth. I just feel like sometimes what happens is we get into the assumption bucket, and then it could be more story, because I thought the same about Tavis Smiley until I heard Tavis Smiley articulate, nope, this is my issue is I campaigned for him before he ran for president. We talked, we ate dinner, we was friends, we were frequent with each other. But once he got to a certain part, he stiffed armed me. I had to buy tickets to go to the inauguration when we were going to everything before, because the white folks told him, just like Reverend Wright, he had to separate himself from all these black folks that were supporting him, who got him to that point. I don't know what happened behind the scenes because they're both from Chicago. But like I said, I feel like in Reverend Jackson's moment of his death, it's like, like you don't want people standing up at your funeral really talking about the bad things you done. And
true.
so your
So
demise, let's talk about the positive stuff, because I feel like that's the part, like when we say giving people flowers, I feel like this is the moment that we speak highly of folks, and then we just leave all that other stuff behind. That's just my
so,
2 cents. That's my 2 cents.
so I think we need to change the direction of the conversation. This doesn't need to be about the Reverend Jesse Jackson. It needs to be about former President Barack Obama. Before anyone is elected, they have to be selected. So, to your point, Thomas, he was told when he got to a certain level that he had to distance himself in order for the money to keep coming, in order for that support to keep coming. Let's be clear. That's how folks get. That's money wins elections. Charisma carries you over the finish line, but money wins elections. That's what gets you in front of the people. That's what keeps your name in people's mouths, so on and so forth. When you look at these two, you have two very bright stars to look at on either side. One was able to travel a little further than the other, but both of them ran their race, and both of them should be commended for the race that they ran. We are grateful to live in a time when we saw both of these men ascend to the positions that they got to. Um, I have a personal story with Jesse Jackson. Now, it was extremely funny. It's still one of those things to this day where it's like, what the hell? But I flew to Atlanta, where I live now, and I had to make a phone call. So got off the plane, got outside because it was noisy. This is early cell phone days. Got outside because it was noisy. Opened my phone, started having a conversation, and noticed something very familiar around me. It's like I've heard that voice before. Whose voice is this? So I'm having a conversation, and the other person's having a conversation, and I turn around, and we were maybe 3 feet away from one another. and it was Jesse Jackson. He was on the phone having a conversation. And I was like, "Oh, you know, Reverend?" You know what I'm saying? And he nodded, smiled, shook my hand, and continued on with his conversation. I was like, "Oh wow, did not expect that at all." Never met Barack. I could see where Jesse could be, to your point, Rashi, could be put off by Barack, though. I could see, to your point, Thomas, where Jesse could be put off by Barack. Because I agree with you. Trump has shown nothing is not doable. Barack refused to push the envelope. For many a year, we've had our necks under the foot, under the toe of white supremacy. And finally, we had the potential of doing something different. We didn't do it. He didn't do it. It is what it is. You know, it's very difficult being the first anything, especially the first black president. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not faulting him. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. He played the game the way he understood how to play it. But again, neither of them should be looked on badly. They did the best they could with what they had. We can debate infinitely what one should have, what one didn't, what one could have, what one. We could go on and on forever with that.
Mhm.
But this ain't the time. This is the time, to Thomas's point, to remember the man whom put his all out there time and again for black people and for this country in general. I mean, it wasn't so long ago Jesse Jackson was still going overseas to barter deals with foreign nations. And he wasn't a paid dignitary, but he was
Yeah,
still
yeah.
able.
Push it up, Brotherly. Talk about Iran Contra. Tell them
Yeah,
how
he was still
they had
able.
to send us to go over there and get them people.
There you go.
Because they was ready to kill everybody that wasn't a nigga. So
They
they sent a reputable black man over to go get them American citizens. Come on, Lee.
And that's why,
absolutely.
but that's why Barack Obama became president, is because that the rest of the country wanted to be done with the U.S. after President Bush, and it needed a black face. And I'm going to say it again, after Donald Trump, they're going to need another black person to do it. But I will say all of our people
Who?
are only standing on the shoulders of the people that come before us. And
Yep.
Obama had to stand on Reverend Jackson's shoulders, even in disagreement. He has shoulders to stand on. And I feel like the thing that we just saw with Rodney and the young man in Vegas is that elders and youth folks often do have disagreements. But as they were stating, what are the things that we agree upon so we can work, so we can pass that information on and that knowledge? And I feel like that's what we should be talking about in this moment. Like this
But
man.
that's what we talking about. Who did he pass it on to? No, I ain't trying. I'm not trying to be
So
hypercritical.
wait, hold on,
I
hold
am not critical
on.
of Reverend Jackson.
So I can say, because I just saw Brother Jamar say, hey, as far as politics, Jesse, who's inspired him. I could say, as far as me sitting inside of a first or second grade classroom, hearing about him running for president, seeing my family go to the polls and wanting to work the polls during the caucus, you barely hear black folks talking about working the caucus polls whatsoever to get somebody elected. Jesse Jackson did that. We had a high voter
I
turnout
agree.
in our community for him. And so I feel like a lot of black politicians were inspired based off of that work that Reverend Jackson did. He may not have won the presidential election, but he seeded the ground, just sort of like sister did when she ran in the 70s, seeded the ground so that other people can sprout up and do things. So now we got black mayors, we got black governors, we got black congressmen, people, and we have black senators throughout the U.S. because of those folks. And sometimes we're always asking to see the obvious. What do I mean by that? When we say, well, who did he leave behind? It's so many people that who he inspired that you may be sitting next to people, you may be eating lunch to people that Reverend Jackson inspired. And
Right.
that's what we need to leave that legacy for. And I want to add this one last point because we brought up Jesus, but let me bring up another person that's often misquoted, and Dr. King. I remember a conversation a couple years ago where people were criticizing Dr. King and his legacy based off of what they felt like extramarital affairs. I'm going to say this, and I mean this. We have to learn how to give grace to people who came before us because we only know so much about the story. The gossip piece, that has nothing to do with the sacrifice of living in the public life, with your life is always on the line, not being able to spend time with your family, not being able to be in your own comfort. And when other people have problems, you get up and go. We call those people poverty pimps. We call those people all of those things. I can tell you, doing work with child protection services, there's not a amount of money you can give me to where people can call me and I got to go and stand up for their problems. Jesse Jackson was flying, as we said, international as well as national to handle problems. So I think that when in his passing, the only thing that we should be asking for the most part is how can we push the ball further, and salute to that brother, because we don't salute people to do it enough. And that's why we don't have younger people wanting to step up to do this stuff anymore, because they don't want to take that beating and that over criticizing. It's hard to find Black folks who got the integrity and the courage anymore. It's easier to just work in the public sector.
Okay, let's talk. Can we talk for a second then? Let's talk. If we wanted to extend Brother Jackson's legacy, we wanted to push forward with Rainbow Push. Okay, because I'm a doable person, right? When you talk to Johnson, Edmund, you have to tell her what to do, right? Like physically, what to do with her body. If I wanted to extend Reverend Jackson's legacy, if I wanted to make the ideas that he lived and died for real, if I wanted to embody Rainbow Push in the coalition, what could I physically actually do?
Go vote.
I would say get Black folks together. Get Black folks together, educate them on the power of their vote, the
Yes,
power of their voice,
yes,
and the power of their dollar.
that we have it.
You know,
That,
I was thinking the other day because Thomas was talking about sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats. Sometimes we look down upon one another for our costs and our price. How many of them same mofos gonna run out here, not to step on your toes, Thomas Berry,
no, go ahead, go
but
ahead.
give Ralph Lauren money for a t-shirt?
Mm-hmm,
That Ralph Lauren t-shirt gonna be $65.
mm-hmm,
That Ralph Lauren sweatshirt gonna be 120.
mm-hmm,
Easy.
mm-hmm.
But you gonna run out here worried about a bear or a man on a horse. Your ass ain't never seen a bear. Your ass ain't never rode a horse. Hell, you may never seen one. But you gonna run out here and spend your hard-earned money with them and just get away. And you good. But you can't spend that same fraction of that money with somebody that looks like you, who's trying to put that money to
Mm-hmm.
good use. Now they're going to do the same thing that Ralph Lauren does. Ralph Lauren going to take that money, and Ralph Lauren going to live good.
Mm-hmm.
Ralph Lauren may not turn around though and put any of that money back in the community.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I guess y'all not hearing me. Hey, Brother Rodney knew he wasn't gonna live forever, right? Because guess what he did?
Mm-hmm.
He found him a Levon.
Yeah.
Okay,
Levon knew, hopefully, that he won't live forever. So
but
he
I
found
did.
so he finds him a what? Brother Barry, you know you're not gonna live forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is going to champion the watch in your when I tell you that Rainbow Bush's CEO right now is a dead man at
No,
85 years
no,
old, there's a problem. You if
no,
you really care about the
that's
mission,
not.
and I'm not saying nothing. Okay, can I put on I love hello, I love Jesse Jackson. Please don't put me as an anti-Jesse Jackson advocate. I'm saying if you care about the actual work of your organization, you find your replacement. You look for and find someone to champion the cause when you cannot. And I'm telling you, go find her. Where they at? Where Rainbow
So,
Push
so,
at?
so Dr. Frederick Haynes is currently the CEO of Rainbow Push, and he has been since 2024. It was another brother before Dr. Frederick Haynes who was the president or the CEO of Rainbow Push, and the Jackson family has not been in charge of Rainbow Push for over a decade, if I'm not mistaken. And so they have people that are lined up. I think that we're kind of confused in the moment. If you really look at it, Rashi, a lot of the camera time that black movements had got in a specific span right around 2008. And I'm not doing this to throw shade, but I'm just telling you where we went. We stopped looking and seeking out the voices of black leadership. And we said we got our black president. They had this thing called Black State of the Union. They did. And you know, that Black State of the Union used to come on every year around this time. And once we got our black president, people didn't want to support what? The Black State of the Union. People talk about a black agenda nationwide. They had a book called The Covenant. And in The Covenant, Jesse Jackson was a part of that as well, right? And then we also got to remember Al Sharpton is also what? He's a pupil of who? Jesse Jackson. So you got a bunch of national action networks out here, just like you got Rainbow Push. Well, that is an extension of who? Jesse Jackson. As Brother Jamar said, Barack Obama even said he was inspired by Jesse Jackson. So even if Barack Obama is, that's an extension of who? Jesse Jackson. Whoever Barack Obama inspires to run, they're on what tree? They're on that Jesse Jackson tree. And that Jesse Jackson tree sits on that MLK tree. So we see the vines as they are connected. They just may not be advertised as they once were, because as a collective, we don't have Ebony magazines telling you about these people anymore. We don't have Jet magazines telling you about these people no more. We don't have BET highlighting black leadership and black leadership only and giving them a voice anymore. And as a people, we don't crave that as much as we used to. We should crave it. We should be looking for the next Jesse Jackson, the next MLK. We should be highlighting them, especially in a moment like now. But unfortunately, our people stuck on the shade room. So they're looking for the next Lil Uzi Vert. They want to know what Jay-Z got going on. They want to know about R. Kelly, P. Diddy. They want that's the kind of stuff that our people, and you can't say that there's not people doing work on the ground, because as much as we can say Rodney found Lee and he found me and he found other people, look at how much little support Brother Rodney gets in the efforts of what he does inside of Vegas. Our people don't hunger for that. We were giving free food away. It was amazing to me. Nobody wanted to pay for the food until the Native Land podcast came in. And then I get a call like, hey, we got money for food. Well, we was passing out food before the situation happened with ICE. How come nobody wanted to put money at the table then? And so I'm just saying, it's not that there's not people behind the scenes that want to do the work. I'm just saying that the people, leadership is nothing without the people to follow. And I feel like our people have been unconditioned from following black voices and start trying to follow people who are assimilated in the mainstream. That's just my 2 cents. And that's not a knock on any of those people, because I love Jasmine Crockett. That's my secret wife. But just Jasmine, as brilliant as she is, she doesn't have anything on sister.
Hey man, she hood as hell. She might not be refined enough for you, brother Barry.
I know I like them hood. So she's not. But
you like a little weave. What I call it when they knock that weave up against their head, where they take the palm of their head and they pound it up against it. So you like a little bit of that, huh?
I'm just saying that's crazy. I'm just saying that, but she still may not be like a Sister Chisholm. She may not be like a September Clark, right? She may not be like a Fannie Lou Hamer. And that's the same thing with the Martins, the Jessies, the Abernathys, the A. Philip Randolphs, and people of that ilk. Malcolm, as well as Marcus Garvey. We have people who are coming along, and salute to Brother Malik Zulu Shabazz, and salute to a lot of the other leaders that we have. Chairman Johnson over there at the NAACP. So we have people, but I don't know if in our on our coffee tables, we don't have those folks' faces, and we don't have articles where we know what their focus is. to galvanize us together. So that's my 2 cents on that. I know Lee want to get to this piece
Right,
about
because I didn't even know we wasn't working the 10-point plan anymore. When he told me that there's a
No, no,
new
no,
plan,
no. Remember what he said though. He said there are different Panther organizations in Las Vegas. The Black Panther movement does not focus on the 10-point plan. Something in my eye. The 10-point plan. So I don't think that's
you got some of
correct.
that hoisin sauce in your eye.
Right. Yeah, I think it's just a different branch of the organization doing something different. That's all. Rodney, did you have anything to say about Brother Jackson?
One of the greatest speeches ever given in the history of this country was when Reverend Jesse Jackson ran for president at the Democratic Convention. It was words from it that reinforced an axiom that's been for our people for over a century. And it used to be, I don't know if you brothers remember that in, I believe it was the 20s, that a bunch of black people, one of the biggest demonstrations of black people marching together in New York was when they spoke about, I am a man. Well, Jesse Jackson said, I am somebody. And being a young black person during the 60s and during the time that Reverend Jackson ran for president, before him we had James Brown would say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, that helped us walk a little straighter. Well, a decade went by and then we got Reverend Jesse Jackson that said, I am somebody. That made us walk even straighter. Those were very powerful words that came from Reverend Jackson. And that's how I remember Reverend Jackson is the man that told the world that the black man is somebody and reminded black people that we are somebody. And so those are the words that were powerful. Those are words that I remembered him by. Reverend Jackson had his role to play. He played his role while he could. He ran his race. Well done, good and faithful son. And it's time for the next ones to run their race. And let us remember we all have a race, and we run our race the way we run our race. And that's what we do while we can, because that's what we know we can. And in many cases, that's all that we can. So I am somebody. And that came from
That's right. Come
Reverend
on, here we
Jesse
go. You
Lewis
ready,
Jackson.
brother? You ready, brother Rodney? I am somebody. I am
I am
I
somebody.
may be poor, but I am somebody. I may be on welfare, but I am somebody. I may be uneducated, but I am somebody. I must be. I am God's child. I must be respected and protected. I am black. I am beautiful. I am somebody. Soul power.
There it is. So that's how I hope that we will remember, or at least that will be a part of our recollection of Reverend Jesse Jackson. He was a man who came up. He came up pretty hard, but he came up. Remember, he's the one who set in at universities before it was all that popular, too. Maybe we don't remember his early years in the movement, uh, but he was an individual as a younger man doing stuff. And then when Dr. King was no longer with us, and I give Dr. King also credit for recognizing that people like Jesse, people like John Lewis, they were younger people and they were out there doing it. And he reached out to them and they came together to really help with an elder, A. Philip Randolph, who before Martin was doing the work. Those three generations came together to bring about one of the greatest civil rights movement and some of the most progress ever for us. And then when it was Jesse's turn, he ran his race. When it was Barack's turn, he ran his race. And whose turn is it now to run the race? Because we need him just as much now as ever before.
That I think is what's scaring the Democratic Party the most. They can't reach back and get them an Obama. Like They ran their Obama well dry. Like there's those mayors or whatever from Chicago. You know what I'm saying, the young dudes, but they're not polished enough to sell to the American community. There are very few what I call line straddlers. What was Obama? He was a line straddler. He had one foot in white America, but his very appearance had put him in like black America. So who's straddling that line nowadays? Nobody. We're so polarized that we got Clarence Thomas on one side, right? And we got somebody ready to completely break the whole system on the other side. Who's the straddler? So when you talk about, when I ask you, because it's legitimate work. If we're talking about America, America said, bring us right? You're hungry, you're tired, striving for the ability to create their own agency in a nation that sees their validation. Yeah, that's what they had told us, right? Okay, but in the
They
meantime,
didn't tell us that.
they told they no,
they
no oh, they
they told
told
us
us. They just didn't
get your
show us.
nigga ass on that boat.
What? No, they told us. They
You going
told
to
us
work for
that.
free?
Well, what they said it after they had already brought us here, so we didn't exactly get the message. Our
No,
message was get your ass over there and pick that
that
thing,
cotton.
pick that thing up. But that's cool. But later, when we were still listening, we saw the shift in immigration go from get your black ass over here and pick that hoe up to hey, are you a nation in the world who needs we're a nation who needs people. Do you have too many people? Well, send your people here, we'll take care of them. That's what we in
No.
theory told the world.
Okay.
When we told the world that, they sent them, right? And so we started incorporating these people into the American dream. What I love about Jesse Jackson, what I love about Shirley Chisholm is that they said, okay, this the dream. Well, how about for those who was already here? And it forced this nation to come up with a reconnoitering. It forced them to say, oh, y'all over there? Oh, dang, I ain't even see you. Oh, but you can talk, you can walk, you can write, you can read, you can count, and you can grow. Okay, let's get it in. So when we put ourselves in the forefront, meaning we do the Jexy Jackson, we do the Barack Obama, we do the Jasmine Crockett, right, Barry? Because Jasmine Crockett is on the same political uptick trend as Barack Obama was back in the day. Jasmine Crockett is essentially doing the same thing Shirley Chisholm did. The same thing, what's her name? Carol Cheryl Mosley Brown. Is it Carol or Cheryl? Mosley
Carol.
Brown.
Carol
Huh?
Brown. Carol.
Mosley Braun did. She said, "I'm here, and you will not be putting me back into some non-powerful subservient role. I'm oversight committee. I'm this. So Jasmine Crockett is essentially doing right what we have seen black leaders do since back in the day, since the Shirley Chisholm uh, Martin Luther King didn't want to be president, but you know what I'm saying. Had he decided, Martin Luther King could have possibly put himself in the running for presidential behavior, right?
I
Yeah,
mean,
he could have.
he could have. I mean, he could have. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a track. I don't care. Call it the Jesse Jackson track. Call it the John Hanson track. I don't care. Whenever black people have decided, okay, I'm not gonna sit here and watch y'all do this no more. I'ma say something. I'ma do something. I'ma organize my comrades who say they believe in the cause, right? I'ma put forth some money nationally for commercials and whatnot for people to see that there's an actual movement. Push movement was the last one. What other movement have we had since Push other than Black Lives Matter?
Uh, so I
That
would.
that that wasn't really ours, but we need to move. We got shucks. We got 30 minutes left in the show. We need to go into the Supreme Court decision about the tariffs. We got to hit that, and we need to talk about justice as it's not being applied here in America. So, to your point, Rashi, what America says and what America does are two different things. Going back to the place that Rodney and I both lived in South Korea, former President Yoon Suk Yeol was convicted of
Lee, say that again three
masterminding.
times real quick.
No, that's not going to happen. Um, you horrible of masterminding an insurrection. He then declared martial law. He was arrested shortly thereafter. This happened in December 2024. He was summarily convicted on Friday and sentenced to life in prison. If you look at the Europeans, we have former Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, whom was arrested on Thursday in connection with the Epstein files. I know, Rashi, you don't want to talk about Epstein files. We got to talk about this. A slice in connection with the Epstein file. His connection with the Epstein files. The British government is considering removing him from the line of succession to gain the crown. At birth, he was second in line of succession behind his brother Charles, but as Charles' family grew, he has fallen to eighth in line of succession. Also because of some other things he's done, because he was a little bad boy. So if the British can do it, I'm sorry, back off that. If the Europeans can do it and the Asians can do it, why have the Americans not found the stomach to hold to account those who break the law? We are supposed to be the beacon of, um, damn, I was going to say communism, now I was going to say capitalism, democracy around the world. And um, Tyra, we were trying to get, okay, all right, gotcha. She said she can't get, I'm going to get that, I'm sorry. That caught me out of side of eye. We are supposed to be the beacon of the around the world to let folks know what democracy looks like, and we are sucking right about now. We look like shit to the rest of the world, and we're supposed to be the blueprint for everybody to follow. That is a problem. That is absolutely a problem. But this too shall pass, God willing, and the creek don't rise. As I've said multitude of times, um, this situation is unpalatable to most Americans. We can't even conceive how we've gotten here. However, it was always right there in front of us. The thing that has prevented us from getting here is decency. And Donald Trump has no decency. He has no decency, any way, shape, or form. He's greedy, he's childish, and he's vain. That's why we're here. It's all about him. What can he get in the same time? What can he give his cronies so that they pledge loyalty to him forever and a day? And there it is. There it is. Um, what do you think about what's happened in Korea, Rodney? Do you think that they have outflanked us with respect to democracy and holding folks to account?
I think that, just like I put in the chat, America's always been a fascist nation. It was just a select group of people, poor people, women, black people, early Italians, early Irish, always Native American. America's always been a fascist country. America is the one who taught the Nazis to be Nazis. They came to America to learn from how Americans treated black people. And even when they took it back to Germany, they said that there's some places they couldn't go, that America treated black people so harshly. So America has always been a fascist nation. Other democracies that have come along have been more democratic than America, have been more about the freedoms that America talked about in the Constitution, but they only talked about it in the Constitution. They didn't put it in action for all people. I mean, isn't that what Dr. King said? He wasn't against the Constitution. He wanted to make sure that the Constitution gave protections to everybody, that everybody benefited from the rights of the Constitution. So, really, what's happening to America today is that America is being unveiled to the rest of the world for what it truly has been for most people in America who weren't rich, who weren't powerful, who weren't owners, who weren't Christians, but most importantly, who weren't white. And that has been, as when I was in Korea, when I was in the Middle East, when I've been in Europe, that's always been the complaint about America, is that America talked one way, but it did something different, and we're hypocrites. America pointed its finger at abuses and harms done to other people in the world to justify its imperialism, but yet America was doing the same thing to blacks, Native Americans, and others. So this is a reckoning for America. The real question for us is, are we as citizens of America going to rise up to the Constitution, gonna go fall back to the words of the Declaration of Independence and overthrow tyranny, no matter where it is, including within these streets in America? So look at what happened in Brazil. They didn't take any time. What's his name? Bolsonaro. It's America that's always drug its feet when it came to white people, people of power, and people of means, and have been quite expeditious when it came to so-called justice for others like black people. And remember what Richard Pryor said, is it justice or is it just us?
Well, you know,
Absolutely.
I
Go ahead, Rashi. Oh no, sorry, that was Thomas. Go ahead, Thomas.
well, you know, my thing is when I'm looking at what's happening overseas, I say a couple things. I think a lot of it's posturing when you look at the tariff situation. Um, you know, the empire's in trouble, and the empire's in trouble because the people let a lunatic back into the White House. And that's just simple. As I said last week, all of this debating when we had a sane person versus an insane person, and we're saying that the insane person was not a good enough
Wasn't qualified.
candidate, that says a lot
That's
about us
crazy.
as a populace.
That's crazy.
It says a lot about us as a populace. And I'm watching the same thing happen with Sister Jasmine down there in Texas with Tellerico. You have a person who has been elected in the state level, the federal level, and then they're saying, well, she's unelectable on a federal level. Well, she's already elected on a federal level, and she won that through where? The state of Texas. So why is it now that she's unelected? It's the same old trope. And I will say to America, be careful. We have to be careful because we have a president who, like I said, Lee, he could have just told the Supreme Court yesterday. He could have came out and just said, "Yo, mama."
Yeah, yeah. Because he went right. We'll get into that. We'll get into that in half a second. We'll get right back into that.
But if you listen to his pandering and you see the ships and everything that's going on with Iran, you know that this is a wag the dog moment. Whatever we got going on overseas for us at this moment, it's a wag the dog moment. But what Americans are able to see from a global perspective is that other countries actually do mean what they say. If they catch their leaders stepping out of bounds, they are going to do what? They're going to prosecute them. They're going to remove them from office. They're going to label them with shame, and they're going to hold them accountable. And guess what? The beat continues on. And some countries are willing to say, we might take a couple steps back on an international scale economically or even inside of military might. But we're going to rid ourselves of this cancer so that we can be healthier down the line. Maybe America, one of the babies, and we're a superpower, but we're a baby in age.
Are we
Maybe
really a superpower?
Well, I mean, we used to be, but Russia
Yeah,
owns now. Russia owns us now. Russia owns half. Israel owns the other half, and so, but
No, I'm sorry, you didn't calculate it right. Russia owns a third. Israel owns a third. China owns the rest.
I would say that China. I think that China is probably got more monopoly money with the rest of them at this moment. I'm starting to get what they're saying about some of these pieces with Russia and even China. I'm like, maybe they have to prop up a villain in order to kind of look like the hero. And so whenever they don't want you to be the villain no more, they get tired of it, they just pull the rug from up under you and then they'll create another villain. And so maybe China might just be, the propped up villain at this moment. But as long as those bankers are concerned, like, hey, we'll play with them for now. They're playing they're playing the music. So I'm just
they're
saying,
playing their role.
I'm just saying when we look at it as a younger country, maybe we should look at some of those older countries and say, nope, this is how we can go all the way back to George W. Bush. This is how George W. Bush should have been treated for what he did in Iraq. He should have been impeached, and a lot of the people inside of his cabinet should have been thrown in jail. And now we got Donald Trump doing something similar. And those are the types of things that I'm looking from an international market, like people are doing better. So those are my 2 cents.
So, Rashi, you got anything to throw into that?
Uh, First of all, I'm so sick of. Look, I didn't type my name in the Epstein files. Listen, if you want to know if you in there, type in Epstein, type in Epstein.com. And then type your name in the find. You gotta queue up the document, right? And then when it says find, you put your name and then you hit enter. And if your name is in the Epstein files, it's 3 million of them, it's millions of them motherfuckers. So it's possible, Barry, that you made your way into the Epstein files.
Well,
Anyway.
I would say this much, and I want to do a conversation. I just talked to Lee about this. I gotta have a conversation, and I want to have it with you, Sister Rashi, on a future show on how a lot of sisters are responding to the Epstein files versus P. Diddy, R. Kelly, and Bill Cosby.
Okay.
Because
Okay, now when we got the actual legislative, we ain't got nothing on Diddy except for some videotape of him kicking a lady in the head, because he didn't do. But we got 3 million motherfucking files on these people,
We got more than that. Remember, they didn't release everything.
and so what you got to do is, if you want to know if you in the Epstein, if you want to know if you in the Epstein files, this is my Deontay Kyle reference. If you want to know if you're in the Epstein files, you have to go type it in and then type your name in find at the bottom. If you type your name in find,
Rashi,
if you pop up, then you in trouble. Go ahead.
I want to point out the jovial factor how we're talking about Epstein, but we
Yeah.
didn't have that jovial.
I don't have nothing funny to say about a black man literally physically
No.
abusing one lady. I don't.
But that's not
But
that's
but I
not
don't know
my
if it's our expectation. Do we expect the Epsteins to do it?
no.
I personally did not expect P. Diddy and R. Kelly to capitalize on their sexuality with us.
So,
But I somewhat expect a Weinstein. I expect a Epstein. I expect them kind of
Why?
people with that amount of power and money. They bored. They don't have nothing to do but to shit on us. But when R. Kelly and Diddy saw that black woman in front of them, in my heart, I was hoping they saw their sister, their younger sister, or their older sister, or their cousin, or their mama,
Okay.
or their auntie, or something in the eyes of the woman. Epstein ain't seen nobody he give a fuck about in the eyes of the women that he has abused. But I was hoping that when we see each other in a different way. But I'm not jovial about it. I'm just telling you.
I'm just saying
After
that.
5 million files, go to the files and type your name in. Shit, I'm a
So,
little bit worried that I made it into the Epstein files. Okay.
so I would just say this. I find it, And I'll say it again because Epstein dealt with white women for the most part. Matter of fact, they were saying that they didn't even want African American women on the island. So these are people that should be his sisters and cousins and all of those things similar. But I will say that the pitchforks was a little bit more for the brothers, and that was more something that did. It's a nervous
True that.
reaction,
True that, Barry.
and so I want to speak to the post-traumatic slave syndrome that I'm showing existing
That's
in
not
this.
it. We hold each
Hold
other.
on, hold
We
on, hold on,
know.
hold
We
on, hold on,
know the
hold
struggle with each other,
we
Barry. We hold each
I
other
think
to higher standards.
hold on. Can you let me land?
Go.
land, please.
Because I what I'm noticing is a trend that I'm constantly seeing online. And what I'm saying is, even when Epstein is brought up, the conversation typically pivots towards, oh, people don't want to have this conversation because they got to talk about their uncles, their brothers, or whatever the case may be. And I'm saying, no, the conversation should be focused on Epstein's because the difference is we're talking about not only financial situations that impact us all, but as well as political implications that impact us all. And we're still looking at a place where a lot of black bodies are disappearing around the country. And so we don't know how deep this hole goes, and we don't know who all is inclined. So I figured that as a community and as a people of a nation, we should want to know, especially when we're talking about children. This conversation is about children because a lot of the people that he was dealing with were kids. We should be
I,
wanting to know more about that than this other stuff because with Bill Cosby, I didn't hear anything about kids being involved with Mr. Cosby. And even with Diddy,
True that. True that.
it wasn't kids, it was adults. So I'm just saying we got to examine that, not this show, but in a later show to kind of talk about our nervous system when the white man house is burning. Why are we so sick?
all right, Rashi, you can respond. Then we got to move on after you respond, Rashi. Go ahead. Rashi, go ahead and respond. And then we'll move on after you respond.
I thought I was responding. I sat up here and put the unmute and still started talking. Anyway, let me move on. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to switch shifts a little bit because, well, Brother Barry is right. There is no appropriate response to pedophilia. Whether it's your uncle or a rich white man, they both using power and circumstance, and none of it is right. Like literally, none of it is right. But you have to hear us, Brother Barry, when we say that white men really don't get persecuted for black rape. And so we have to put our mindsets in a certain place. Like we don't even have a foundational understanding for when white people hurt us. We just know how to deal for real when we hurt each other. So if you feel like we're being uh in discriminate amongst ourselves, discriminate against each other when we're not using that same criterion against the others, is simply because we know how they get the fuck down. They trained us when they snatched us and brought us over here. And that historical memory lies dormant in our reality, in our mindset. And so, yeah, when we get to call each other to the carpet, we don't really see no point in calling white folks to the carpet. They made the carpet, they know the carpet, they weave the carpet. It's us. We want to make each other better. So, yes, black folks hold each other in a higher, stronger criterion than we do others because we have not witnessed each other destroy, actively and willingly destroy a civilization. We don't know nothing about that. So yes, we do, Brother Barry, we do hold white folks at a stronger, longer straw than we do eat than we do I mean at a weaker, shorter straw, sorry, than we hold each other. We make each other get each other right. And I love that about ourselves. Now to finish off, I need y'all to know that parent teacher conferences happened this week. Parents, if you didn't show up for your baby, it's you. I'm going to switch us all the way up in subject. If you didn't get off your ass and couch and clock out of that job, and you got children who are still within the educational system, which, according to Thomas Berry, is still truly, and Brother Rodney, still being used against us as far as information. If you didn't get your ass up and go check on your baby and how they interface with the government, then you are the problem. I have 100 children I teach. I saw 13 parents. I have 100 children I teach. I saw 13 of their parents this last parent teacher conference. I have never seen such apathy for the education process. Just trust and believe that I am an agent of the government. I am subversive. I do not do what they tell me to do, but I have to perform within a certain guideline, or else you right, Barry. They'll get my ass up out of there, won't they, Barry? So please know, thank you, Brother Lee, for telling me to wrap it up, that if you have not checked on your children in the last 3 months, just know they were assessed for their cognitive abilities. And COVID is done nationally. COVID is done. And if we want to, we can have your child repeat that grade. So if you are a parent or a grandparent with children within any educational system, please go check and see if they doing what the fuck we told them to do. Because if they not, we now have the power to ask them to do it all over again. Thank you.
Gotcha. So before we get out of here, again, we need to talk about the Supreme Court decision with the tariffs. The Supreme Court struck down Trump's unilateral tariffs, saying he didn't have the power to do so. The three liberal judges were joined by Chief Justice Roberts, by Neil, how do you pronounce that boy name?
Gorsuch, Gorsuch,
Gorsuch, Gorsuch, and Amy Coney Barrett.
Comey Barrett.
What did I say? I don't know what the hell I said, but Amy Coney Barrett. Um, I did not see it coming. I really didn't. They have been so much in his rear side that they can tell what he ate before it was fully digested. So I did not see this happening, but it happened. And again, a couple weeks ago, I saw the story break that Costco and others were already lining up lawyers to sue, trying to get their money back
Yep.
from the government for these damn tariffs. So we'll see. As I said in the beginning of the show, remember this did not go through Congress, so I'm not 100% sure that someone's not going to sue him personally because this was an executive order. So we'll see. We will see how this breaks. Um, he then turned around to, I'm sorry, to your point, Thomas, later on and said, oh, screw y'all, I'm still going to do it, and put a 10% tariff on a couple of nations afterward. Obviously, they're not going to stand or stick, but his bravado will not allow him to do anything different. He doesn't know what to do. He just doesn't know what to do. Alito, Kavanaugh, and Thomas dissented. They were in the minority. So it crossed the threshold 6-3. This was a huge. I don't want anybody to downplay this. This was huge. This was huge. This is the first time they really sat back and said, "Yeah, nah, dog, you went a little too far." Because remember, they gave him a blank check earlier. He was like, oh, as long as you're president, whatever you do, you can do. For them to come back and swat him down with this one, I'm not in the camp of belief that this is going to be a huge tidal wave shift for them toward him. But even if it gives a hope or a glimmer, if it causes other folks, maybe not him, but other folks to second guess the length of his authority, obviously this has definitely put a check on 2026. Let's be clear, dog. These jokers are preparing for Armageddon in the midterms. They are preparing for Armageddon during the midterms. And Trump has been blustering about he can cancel elections. He cannot cancel elections. Elections are state run. They may have federal repercussions, but they're state run. It's not run by the federal government. So we'll see, man. There's more and more fissures starting to creep up in this cat's coalition. And honestly, I thought they would be earlier. And when I saw they weren't, I was very much weary that they would never happen, or they would happen probably late in his third year. For them to happen just a couple of months into his second year, yeah,
But Lee, you
it's
got to
gonna be
understand, it was a phone check. I think that the ghost of Dick Cheney visited Justice Roberts,
difficult.
and I think that they reminded him of who really put him in his position. And this whole thing of Trump saying rhino, you know, those are the folks who put Roberts in the court. And I also think that from one egomaniac to another, that I think Roberts is starting to see behind the scenes that Trump is impeding on the power of the Supreme Court. Okay, if you want to punk Mike Johnson, it's okay if you want to punk Mitch McConnell and the boys, but we will have you not punking this court right here because we're
While
not
I'm in this piece.
because we're not getting a cut of those said tariffs, right? That check bounced. That check bounced. And so now
All my kids are through college, and I ain't got nobody need a house.
right, but I do want to say this much, and I want to put this on the press. There should be scathing reports about Mike Johnson because this is not about Donald Trump, and this is not about the Supreme Court. This is about a Speaker of the House that is refusing to do his job, who is constantly taking the ball, running home. He's not holding town halls in his district. He's not out there on the campaign trail to raise dollars for the other people inside of his party. When he's just going on vacation, and he's shutting down the Congress a lot. He's shutting down the House a lot. And none of this would be going on if he did his part. And I blame the American media because there should be several from the New York Times, the Washington Post, the LA Times. Hell, can we get the Miami Herald, who seems like they're the only people who's willing to do investigative work anymore, to do a story on Mike Johnson and how Mike Johnson is letting the country down because he's the one who act like he has no balls. And why take the position? If you're going to take the nosedive, you might as well just let the Democrats have it so that there is a level of opposition and checks and balance. As Rodney is saying, the most do-nothing Congress, well, that's because we have the most do-nothing Speaker of the House in the history of the Congress. So that's where the blame is.
Shame on him, too, for not allowing Jesse Jackson's body to lay in wait. Shame on him for that.
Oh, my. Hey, listen, brother. That's why the pen should be scathing towards him. You can lay all of this at his feet, and people should be talking about that. How the hell do you do this for Charlie Kirk? But then you have Reverend Jackson, who has done more, just even on a political level, for this country, nationally and internationally, compared to some. Charlie Kirk is just an online personality. That's who he is. A podcaster, the flying half mast for a podcaster compared to a national hero like Jesse Jackson, no matter what you think about Jesse. And as I said to other people, and I want to clear this up, I have my own conflicting views, but I'm also a person who was raised to give grace to the dead.
Yeah. Look, I got to go. I got to meet my son in Alabama, take his ass to dinner.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all for watching us live. I can't say listening anymore, right? Thank you all who watch us later. Rodney, thanks for getting up with us. I know you were in pain. I know you were up late, but I appreciate it. Hey, thanks to everybody that joined today. We were not able to get Sister Tyra on, but she did hit me, so I am in communicate with her at this point. So we'll see if we can circle back and have her on possibly next week. Please, everybody, be good, be safe. And if no one's told you they love you, we do. Ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Till next week, family.